What's up everyone, my name is Cam, I'm a certified dog nutritionist, founder of the Dog Nutritionist, and this is my dog food review of Hill's Kidney Care dry and wet tin food. In this video, we're going to look at what your dog's kidneys do and what are the causes of kidney issues. That way you can best understand the issue and therefore work out whether or not the food is right for the issue that your dog has. We're obviously going to look at the ingredients in the food and we're going to analyze whether or not those ingredients work to address the causes of lost kidney function. With anything that's been prescribed, you're hoping that it's going to address the issues or the causes of your dog's illness, which diet can provide. Nutrition can be a solution for this type of issue, for kidney problems, but does this food stack up and provide the support that your dog needs? We're also going to talk about the protein misconception, and then I'm going to run through what I think you should do, having worked with so many dogs that have kidney problems, what I think your best foot forward is. So what do the kidneys do? They remove waste from the bloodstream like urea and creatinine. They balance minerals in the blood, calcium, phosphorus, potassium, sodium, and they also work to regulate blood pressure. Those are just some of the few things that the kidneys do. What are the causes of kidney problems? Well, you have gut microbiome dysbiosis, an imbalance of bacteria and fungi and other microorganisms in the gut. When there's an imbalance there, it causes more waste to get into the bloodstream. It goes through the gut, all this waste. Some of the bacteria will normally manage the waste levels, but if it's in a state of imbalance, more waste gets through into the small intestines and then is absorbed into the blood and filtered by the kidneys. So if the gut is not healthy, the kidneys are under stress. You have high blood pressure. High blood pressure can be brought on by diets too high in sugars, low quality fats. You have prolonged periodontal disease. So if your dog has a load of buildup in their mouth, plaque and bacteria buildup, all of that bacteria will travel through their gastrointestinal system and work its way into the kidneys. So the mouth is the start of the gut. If there's obvious signs of problems, all of that's going to be ingested and it will affect the kidneys. Too much waste in the food is another cause. So low quality foods that contain, cheap refined oils, cooked at high temperatures, all of those nasty compounds will work their way into the blood, or at least lots of them will, and then the kidneys will have to deal with that. The ideal situation with a diet that you're providing for therapy is that it works to address the causes, because without doing that, you don't minimize stress on the kidneys and you don't provide your dog with the support that they need. So I've got my laptop here. I'm going to run through the ingredients in the dry food and then the wet food, just highlighting really the main ones and a bit of information on those. Brewer's rice is the most prominent ingredient in the dry food, which is not great. You don't want to have a diet too high in carbs. You then have animal fat, maize, dried beet pulp, dried whole eggs, pea protein, digest minerals, pea bran meal, and a few other additions like vitamins and trace minerals. So most likely synthetic vitamins and minerals, which they've chucked in and then cooked to the high temperature. In the wet food, you have meat and animal derivatives. So unidentified meat, cereals, again, which can be sprayed with glyphosate, which will not be good for the kidneys, oils and fats, and then derivatives of vegetable origin. If you're looking at the causes of kidney problems, gut microbiome dysbiosis, to nourish the gut appropriately, you need to have a balanced, fresh food diet. The balance of the bacteria depends on the type of ingredients and the proportioning that's going into your dog. So if there's too many carbohydrates, then that's going to nourish bacteria, which actually isn't that healthy. If you want to get the optimal balance of bacteria that lives in your dog's gut, it needs to be predominantly fresh meat, protein, a little bit of vegetables, maybe a small amount of carbohydrates if your dog is in a sensitive position or if they have a fat sensitivity. Nourishing their gut with the optimal amount of meat, veggies. That's how you create that balance, and that balance will then work to stop waste getting into the bloodstream. Okay, chronic bacterial infections or prolonged periodontal disease, bacteria that lives in the mouth or along in the gut. Does this food address the causes of that? Well, I don't see any antibacterial ingredients in here. I don't see a diet that's going to nourish the gut so that bacteria can look after itself. And if your dog has to chew on these nasty carbohydrate meat biscuits, that's going to get stuck in their teeth. If they're eating this brown sludge with a load of fake ingredients, in my opinion, then that's also not going to be good for their teeth. High blood pressure, I think I've been into this, but I'll go through it again. High blood pressure is caused by too much sugar in the diet and low quality fats. Cheap refined oils, not good for the heart, not good for blood pressure. Do I think these foods address the causes of your dog's kidney issues enough for it to merit as being their diet, their therapeutic diet? No, not at all. Before I recommend what I think you should do, I just want to address the protein issue. Protein restricted diets are a myth. There is no evidence to suggest that protein contributes to renal disease progression. The whole agenda for low protein diets is so that someone can create a generic, cheap solution to a very unique individual. It's a very sensitive issue that requires quality foods. And this whole tagline of low protein diets mean you look for a low protein recipe and here's one we have for all dogs. That's not the case. Being restrictive of protein is going to mean your dog's health is sacrificed in other areas. Obvious signs will be dry, flaky skin. They might start losing mobility quicker. Their coat will become dull and coarse. It's not recommended to restrict protein, not until the dog is at least stage 3. And then you might want to do short-term restrictions, but by no means would it ever be recommended that a dog who is early stage 3 goes on a restrictive diet. You want to nourish them as a whole, get them to be as healthy as they can be, minimize the stress on the kidneys by addressing the causes, and you can only do that with simple fresh food diets. And that's what's going to bring me on to my next point. What is the best thing to do here? Well, it's to learn how the kidneys work, what are the causes of the issues, and then use a simple fresh food diet that works for your dog that addresses those causes. Make sure their teeth are clean, make sure their gut is well nourished, remove waste that could be getting into their system by taking out the processed foods, making sure that their water is clean. That's the best way to deal with it. And if you want that information, I've written an article on how to make homemade diets for dogs with kidney issues that you can find on my website. I have a guide for kidney support recipes. It's a nutrition guide that comes with the recipes that you need. That is what I would suggest to get as much information and trust your gut. Go with the fresh food option and you'll see the benefits almost immediately. If you want any more information, like I said, there'll be some in the description or head to my website.